Hi and welcome to yet another vintage lens revival episode. This time I have a Russian lens from the 80s, believe it or not, from the 80s. It's a MIR 20mm 3.5 and as you can see it's quite invaded by fungus. So let's get to business. I'll be putting my finger gloves and start the disassembly process. As you can see, this time I also invested into a second microphone, and at a certain point during this video I invested in 0 microphones. Quite genius. And I don't know why I'm making this voice. So, alright, we have a few tiny screws to bring the aperture ring aside. I opened the aperture all the way, but it's better to close it all the way and focus to infinity. So I made a big mistake, rather a small mistake. Just because I found out in the end of the video about this small mistake. So do it like I said. And never mind me pointing to the 3.5 because it should be all the way to 11. Now gently unscrew to remove the screws and then move the ring to the back of the lens to reveal more screws. I'm starting to strongly dislike this word. Here they are. Disconnect to the aperture control assembly, 3 big screws and 1 small screw. Once everything is out, remove the assembly, revealing the inside of the lens. And at this point, I shit my pants. Just a reminder, if you can, try not to copy me. I'm not a professional. After a brief inspection, I pointed out to something. It's been so long since I recorded this that I forgot. Maybe this lettering is supposed to be at the bottom of the lens. Yeah, probably with that one. And here is a shot that shows you nothing at all. And here is a shot of my lovely hair. There are another 3 screws to remove, but first, let's make a marking to know how it's supposed to be reassembled later on. They're a perfect little mark for the future reference. I feel like it's important to say that to be careful with old lens and unscrewing. You never know when some surprise slap you in the face, basically. As you can see, I'm quite a perfectionist, using tweezers to remove these small, screws. Sheeting my pants part 2. Removing the focus ring. It's a clever lens, but you have to remove all these parts to get to the front element. It looks like all glass elements are fixed inside, and the focus ring moves all of them at once. Maybe that's why it focuses so close. Under the inspection, to point out something important that I clearly forgot. Oh, maybe I was telling this is the next screw to take off. And quite small, probably the smallest ever made. Please don't drop this, just please. Don't do it though. Success! We made it. We got to the front element, everybody. This is just a retainer screw. The hardest and strangest part is coming up. Are you familiar with the death grip? Hopefully not, and this is not it, but it's a strong grip to unscrew the front ring. This is a never-ending ring, god damn it. Holy shit! All good. I'm fine. We're safe. And the front element can come off now. Let's make a bed for this huge piece of glass. And I'm a sucker for specialized tools, eh? All the fungus is inside of the lens, and I'm shitting my pants right now watching me flip this glass around. Maybe I'm putting too much faith in this cheap tool I bought from Amazon. There's no link in the description. I feel like the fungus will leave a mark on the coating, unfortunately. Do you enjoy sushi? Now I'm hungry, just by the way I was holding the lens spanner. I'm always careful not to make the tool slip. You can imagine that if it touches the glass, it might fuck up permanently the glass. Get a good and secure grip, deep breath, and be methodic. Like me. Sometimes when the ring is loose, it's better to use a smaller tool or just a finger with the gloves. To be extra safe, I took it out with tweezer. This is a bulgy piece of glass, as you'll see. I told you, it's bigger than it looks, right? And unfortunately, also here there is fungus. Spoiler alert, all the lenses had fungus. Hopefully you can see the fungus here. There's tiny spots. There isn't much space here for the spanner, so I used another kind of tool. For it, I'm thinking, alright? Calipers, my personal favorite. Another tool that's good for these jobs. Pointy, sturdy, and with a lock. There you go. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. As earlier, I used a tiny screw because my fingers wouldn't fit there and there's not much space. So with patience and perseverance, you can do it. But don't do it, all right? Please. Tweezers again. Careful, mate. Jesus, I can breathe. As you can see, deep breath, as I said. This is scary. Those tweezers are kind of pointy. Only the one who has nails can play the guitar. I can breathe now. Using a sharp tool near the glass is not for the faint-hearted. And my heart skipped a stop like earlier. Now, these next elements are just floating in there, and gently take them out. Don't. Let me do it. Come on. One down. I said gently. Jesus Christ. Let's say this one needed a bit more persuasion. Check this out. Almost everything out. Ta-da! I like my desk clean and organized, mostly for mental health issues. So let's make the mise en place for the cleaning procedure. I use isopropyl alcohol and hydrogen peroxide. Just to keep with the theme, should I use vodka? Cheers! This is me unsaturating the Q-tip. I'm always too scared to put too much liquid on the lens. However, these swabs are not perfect. Sometimes they leave behind some fibers. I have to be careful not to leave fibers and residue on the lens. We want to clean the lens, not dirty it. I love to watch the alcohol evaporate on my lever. The fungus is not coming out with the alcohol quite as I expected, so I changed strategy and moved to hydrogen peroxide. Yeah. I kept the alcohol for myself. Please drink moderately, okay? And now for the big one. This is the element with the most fungus. So I decided to dip the lens in the hydrogen peroxide and being quite careful with the glass. It sounded loud, but it wasn't. Just the gain was way too much high. No pain, no gain. No, this is not a bubble bath. Did I ever mention these finger gloves are way too tight? I spent half the recording in pain. It's a huge bag. It'll take years before I use them all. So I bought them, and now I have to use them. Again, no pain, no gain, right? After a few minutes, take the lens out of the liquid. By now, the fungus should be dead, I think. UV light also destroys the fungus, so technically it should just expose the lens to sunlight. But still, you will need to clean it. Now, clean and dry the lens until the result is satisfactory. Well, satisfactory doesn't really feel like a word, or is it? I have no idea. Also soaked and cleaned the other components. Now, this is the best part of the video. From here, everything went smooth and without any trouble. No trouble at all. Fuck. The screw broke. I'll go really slowly for the next one. Did it broke? Hopefully not. This is a what's in the box moment. Did it broke or not? Holy fuck. 2 for 2. Hopefully not this one. Please not this one. At least one. Come on. Did it? Come on. And that's a whole screw. Yes. At least one didn't break. I'm wondering how it's going to be fixed. This lens got way more difficult. Way more difficult. Let's ignore the screws broke for now, so it'll blow in my face later on. Let's keep cleaning and ignore it happened. Let's pretend it didn't happen. If you decide to go crazy and try this on your own, this is important. Remember the order and orientation of each lens element. Shit, my pants counter. I lost count. The inside of the lens looks a little bit rusty, but I'm not experienced to dig further on inside the lens, so I'll have to leave it like that. hydrogen peroxide. It's kind of a sticky liquid. It takes a few more puffs to dry it out, or at least make it fly away. And welcome to the assembly chapter, where I discover how hard it is to find the correct screw. Sorry. I decided to try to assemble this part, just as I remember that two screws broke inside the lens, and there is no proper way to keep the elements snug into place. So here is an autofocus image with loud puffs for your own unenjoyment. Try to imagine a better shot of me placing the lens elements into place. And for my next trick, no sound. Clearly, I was more in focus than this angle. With the finger gloves, I may touch things without smudging with the fat of my fingers. That's why they are kind of important. And yes, I just called myself as a fat. It always makes me laugh, this sound. Ooh, did you hear that? When things go into the proper place, where that sound is just amazing. Love hearing that click. After assembling the big glass, you can clearly see that it's way better than before, but still a little bit chewed by the fungus. Let's reassemble the retainer screw, and this is quite one of the smallest screws I've ever seen. I really don't want to lose this one. Are you afraid of dogs? Sorry about that. I hope I didn't scare you. This ring was quite a fit. And then again a small screw to just keep it in place. That's what screws do, actually. In case you don't know. Now remember the mark I did earlier in the video? Well, I actually did it a month ago at the time I'm speaking. It may be years ago, depending on your time. Hopefully, years. I really have lovely hair, especially when it's out of focus. And that was the bad joke alarm. It goes on and on. Perfect. Everything works as supposed, and I'm actually pointing out something probably irrelevant. Hopefully irrelevant. Now the aperture subassembly. Remember, this should be disassembled and assembled with a fully closed aperture. Not open, closed. And now the screws to keep the subassembly in place. Remember, 3 big screws, 1 small screw, and please ignore the f3.5. It should be on 16. Alright, next let's slide the ring in place carefully, not to marry the lens. Bad joke alarm? Not this time, that was a good joke. Awesome. Let's start the fun part now, of looking for the correct screws. And the surprise, the best ASMR ever with no sound. There I was pointing out where the screws broke, and I'm just finding out that the screws were 1.5 millimeter long and 1.1 in diameter. Next, it's coming the big bugs. Most of these screws are actually from my late grandfather's that is no longer with us, unfortunately, but it seems the joy of disassembly runs in the family. And everybody, my big cork. What for, you might ask? Well, the cork is in the right place, in the right time for my crazy idea to take place. Let's consider this lens as a vintage wine. Usually the cork is to make oxygen stay outside the bottle. This one is to make metal shards stay outside as well, almost the same thing. Masterfully cutting this cork. Ninja! I just love how the cork is at the perfect size for this hole. And why do I have the feeling it's going to be a pain in the ass to take it out? To protect the lens even further, I covered or protected a little bit more, so I put a piece of paper in this opening, whatever you want to call it. No sound. Amazing. Well, the space rocket is ready to launch. I ordered a 1mm drill bit from Amazon and used it on my whole Dremel, not sponsored, on a little drill press that is not made for a Dremel, not sponsored. Yet. A little bit of foreplay, just to keep things interesting and aligned. Now bravely place the bit where the hole should be, because it's, as you know, it's covered by a broken screw. So I was quite nervous and forgot the microphones, or at least one microphone. Actually, this was sounding exactly like a nuclear explosion. You got the reference? All right, one down, another one to go. Somehow this hole felt a little bit harder to drill, so I decided to take it slow. So I took this time also to clean softly, mostly for self-regulation, because I was kind of shitting my pants again. And It's traumatizing drilling into a vintage lens, so I do not wish to do it again. Well, the great news is that not a single metal shard went into this lens. Not a single one. So I made a good job protecting the inside of the lens and every single part of it. Oh, and the sound is back again. Well, it's been mono for a while now. Hope you noticed. Share in the comments below if you did or didn't notice. So next time in next videos, I will decide if it's worth the effort. Oh, and I also forgot the finger gloves, so... And this is me shitting my pants once again, because that's a really pointing stuff and I was risking scratching the lens. But everything went alright. And now I can place the rear elements into place. And yes, I made sure it's perfectly clean, pristine inside. Ouch. Now check this magic trick. With air, I placed it into place. And now for the moment of truth. Will it fit? Is it cake? The real sound of the relief. The holes were aligned. Amazing. And the relief. It took me a few hours to look in the box and nearly a month on the internet, and I didn't find anything. I also looked into my personal glasses just to find out they were not made in the USSR. I also found out that I often forget important stuff like audio, sound, microphones. But the image looks pristine, eh? And this screw is too big, unfortunately. Yeah, it should be 1.1. And I almost gave up until I had another crazy idea. WD-40. As the smallest I could find is 1.3mm holes, I ordered from the Amazon tapping bits with correct size. I was the client of the month that month. They had a picture of my unfocused hair on the wall just because I don't show my face in here yet. And I should also order something to remind me to record audio. Sound. Turn on the microphones for a change, instead of just doing stupid voiceovers. So this is my third time doing tapping and my first time doing tapping with a 1.3mm bit. And I was shitting my pants, obviously. No sound, eh? Awesome. But if you listen closely, you can hear my butthole tightening. And I actually am feeling good about this one. Even if it's my first time, I feel confident. I'm really excited to try this out. I'm screwing just something in just to see if it works out well or not. Look at that. Mom, I made something. Amazing. I'm a genius. And number two, and this time, for a change, I wasn't shitting my pants. Now, look at that confidence, the pride, the technique. And I wish Sir Attenborough would do this voiceover. Now it's cinema time. Yes. awesome. Let's go, final assembly. This is the light at the end of the tunnel. It took months, and now I just wish for closure. Really. Just please be over. I deserve closure, as this is the pinnacle of self-worth on a hobby that brings no money to the table. And yet, I'll keep doing it, not because I want fame, not because I want likes, but because I need to do this. I need the puzzle, I need the film, I need to bore you with my videos. I need to be free and write stupid stuff and record farts in the middle of the voiceover. Finally, I just need the challenge. Everybody needs a challenge. Yep, everybody. You as well. And you deserve the applause because the challenge was just listening to this part of the voiceover. It might not be perfect, but I did it. We did it. If you watched so far, hopefully not. I know I'm not watching it till the end. But if you're here with me, thank you. Really. Now, this is the before, and this is the after. Well, goodbye, and don't forget to be kind.